How's it going, everybody? Daner here with North Central Coins, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the most rare and valuable coins in Canada. Today we're going to be diving into another fascinating piece of Canadian numismatic history, the 1967 nickel Bobcat quarter. For those who may not be familiar, 1967 marked Canada's centennial, and to celebrate, special designs were issued for all of the different Canadian coin denominations. The 25-cent coin featured a unique and beautiful Bobcat, which was designed by renowned Canadian artist Alex Colville. He was commissioned to create the reverse designs for the entire 1967 Canadian Centennial coin series. Each design by Alex Colville captured the essence of Canadian wildlife, and the Bobcat became an iconic symbol for the quarter. Now, what makes some of these 1967 Bobcat quarters particularly rare and valuable is that a very small number of them were accidentally struck on nickel planchettes instead of the intended silver ones. 1967 was a hectic production period for the Royal Canadian Mint, as they were transitioning larger denominations like the quarter and dimes from silver to nickel in an effort to reduce costs. As a result, between 5 or 10 of these incredibly rare nickel Bobcat quarters came into existence, making them a highly sought after treasure among Canadian collectors. In today's video, we'll explore the historical context surrounding the production of this rare coin, how to identify it, and also its potential value if you happen to own or find one of these. Before we do get into this, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. And also make sure to stay to the end of the video if you'd like to find out just how much you can get for one of these rare coins if you are lucky enough to find one. And I also have a very exciting announcement. If you are into exploring unique finds beyond the world of coins, you should check out my other channel, North Central Builds. If you want to see me open and build some of the most distinctive and budget-friendly Lego sets from over the years. So if you're into discovering some of the super cool and obscure Lego builds that you won't find anywhere else, and make sure to subscribe to my other channel, North Central Builds. And then without any further ado, what do you say we get right into it and discuss the Canadian 1967 nickel Bobcat quarter? Let's get it, guys. The 1967 Canadian Bobcat quarter is a remarkable coin for collectors, not only for its stunning design by renowned Canadian artist Alex Colville, but also for the fascinating minting era that led to the creation of the extremely rare nickel versions. Originally, the entire mintage run of the 1967 Bobcat quarters was intended to be struck in either 50% silver and 50% copper, or 80% silver and 20% copper, or 0.50 and 0.80. This adjustment in the metal composition was part of a broader effort by the Canadian Mint to prepare for a transition to nickel coinage, which aimed at reducing the cost of producing higher denomination coins for the dimes, quarters, half dollars, and silver dollars. However, during this busy period, which involved the production of commemorative coins for Canada's centennial, a small batch of nickel planchettes, which were typically reserved for the future coin denominations, were accidentally used to strike some of these 25-cent Bobcat quarters. This mix-up resulted in the creation of one of the rarest Canadian coins in existence, the 1967 nickel Bobcat quarter. Numismatists believe that only 5 to 10 examples of this extremely rare coin still exist, making it an extraordinarily sought-after item for collectors. A certified example of one of these, graded SP64, which is Specimen 64 by PCGS, sold in auction for a staggering $3,000 US in the year 2019, solidifying its status as one of Canada's most valuable air coins. Now, given this piece's extreme rarity, knowing how to identify one of these coins is incredibly important if you want to be able to make the big bucks. So here's what you should look for. First, you want to perform the magnet test. The simplest and most effective way to determine whether you have a nickel or silver 1967 Bobcat quarter is to perform a magnet test. Silver is non-magnetic, so if your 1967 Bobcat quarter does not stick to a magnet, you likely have a silver version. Now on the other hand, if the 1967 Bobcat quarter sticks to the magnet, it is likely the extremely rare nickel version of this coin. You also want to look for visual differences. Nickel coins tend to have a duller appearance compared to their silver counterparts. The silver Bobcat quarters, whether they're 50 or 80% silver, generally exhibit a more lustrous or shiny finish, especially in higher grade or well-preserved states. The nickel version of this coin, by contrast, may appear more dull and lack the same level of reflection that is characteristic of the silver coins. This very subtle difference in appearance can provide additional clues when identifying one of these coins. You then also want to do the weight test. While this might not be immediately obvious to the naked eye, the difference in metal composition between nickel and silver affects the weight of this coin. A 1967 quarter made of silver will actually weigh slightly more than the rare nickel version. If you have a scale, compare the weight of your Bobcat quarter to the standard weights for a silver version, and if there is a difference in weights, then you may have the rare version. I will actually go over the exact weights of the silver and nickel versions later on in this video. You can also perform a ping test. For silver Bobcat quarters, distinguishing between the 50 and 80% silver versions is a bit tricky. One tried and true method is the ping test, which involves gently tapping the coin to produce a sound. Silver coins emit a clear, ringing tone when they are struck, and the pitch may vary slightly depending on the silver content of the coin. The higher silver content in the 80% quarters should produce a longer, more resonant ping compared to the 50% silver variety, which may produce a slightly duller or short tone. Collectors will often use this method as an alternative to using expensive silver testing machines. Now you can also get your coin professionally tested. If you're serious about determining whether you have a nickel Bobcat quarter, and if you want to know the exact silver composition of one of your 1967 regular silver Bobcat quarters, a more definitive option is to use a precious metal testing machine. These devices, typically used by professional coin graders or bullion dealers, can accurately determine the metal composition for your coin. However, these machines are quite expensive, which makes them impractical for casual collectors. For anybody that finds one of these rare coins and is wondering where to sell it, or they can get it identified or appraised, one thing you can do is look up your local coin shops in your area and maybe take it in and get an opinion. I wouldn't do this for any coin that you find, but if you find something that you believe is truly a holy grail, then it probably is worth getting a second opinion, because you don't want to accidentally throw something that's worth thousands of dollars back into the wilds of circulation. Beyond the intrigue of this rare minting error, the 1967 Canadian Centennial coins are highly significant in Canadian history. They're created in celebration of Canada's 100th anniversary of Confederation. The government commissioned special designs for each of the denominations, from the penny all the way through to the silver dollar. The eventual designs were the result of an open competition to Canadian artists with the intent of showcasing national pride and the country's natural wildlife. Alex Colville, a renowned artist from Sackville, New Brunswick, was chosen to design all 6 of the 1967 reverse designs. Each design featured a different Canadian animal, which symbolized the natural beauty and strength of our country. The Bobcat, which was featured on the 25-cent coin, is meant to embody agility, independence, and fierceness. The obverse of this coin retains the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was designed by Arnold Mockin. The combination of Alex Colville's wildlife depictions with Arnold Mockin's regal portrait creates a coin that remains beloved by collectors, not just for its beauty, but for its deep historical meaning. Because of the extremely limited number of these 1967 nickel Bobcat quarters in existence, these coins are considered the holy grail for many coin collectors. Even for those who don't possess the nickel version, the 1967 silver Bobcat quarter still remains a fairly decent find due to its connection with Canada and also its silver content. Even if you do happen to find one of these silver 1967 Bobcat quarters in your pocket change, I would still definitely hold on to it because silver coins are generally worth more than their clad counterparts, and you can usually sell them for a couple dollars, and collectors covet these things both for the design and also for their silver content. Whether you find one of these Bobcat quarters coin roll hunting, at a flea market, or in your family coin collection, you're holding a valuable and historic piece of numismatic art, and if you happen to find one with the nickel composition, you are holding a true Canadian Holy Grail coin. Now, before we get into the values for these nickel Bobcat quarters, some of the details and specifications of any of these are off and may indicate that you do not have a legitimate example. First, I'm going to discuss the details and specifications for the regular silver issues of the 1967 Bobcat quarters. The overall mintage for the 1967 Bobcat quarter is 48,855,500, and that includes both the 80% and 50% silver compositions. They will be non-magnetic if they are composed of silver. The silver versions will have a weight of 5.83 grams, a diameter of 23.88 millimeters. The edge will be reeded, they will have a diaxis and metal alignment as is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins. The obverse was designed and engraved by Arnold Mockin and the reverse by Alex Colville. Now, the details and specifications for the Holy Grail nickel composition 1967 Bobcat quarter. It is designated with a code DC34. It has a composition of nickel. It should be magnetic. It has a lower weight of 5.07 grams as opposed to the 5.83 grams of the silver version. So that is one of the differentiating factors, is the lower weight. The nickel version should have a diameter of 23.62 millimeters, which is slightly lower than the silver version. Its diaxis will be in metal alignment. The obverse was designed by Arnold Mockin and the reverse by Alex Colville. Now, if you were to find one of the nickel versions of these coins and send it into a grading company, it would be designated with a specimen designation, meaning it will get an SP. Now, because this coin gets an SP designation, it means more than likely it is a pattern or test piece. So when they actually made this coin, they probably only made a few of them, and they were testing out the nickel planchettes because they're going to be implementing them in the next couple years for general circulation. So either the mint made a few of these as a pattern or test, or a few nickel planchettes accidentally slipped into the presses when they were making the 1967 Bobcat quarters. But if you do send one of these in to be graded with the nickel composition, it will get an SP designation. Now, in terms of value, if you find a regular 1967 specimen Bobcat quarter, just to give you guys a comparison, it can be worth around $50 on the high end if you find one that's in incredible condition. Now, if you find one that is composed of nickel, it can be worth around $3,000 for an SP62. If you find one that's pretty beat up and worn, you're probably still going to get at least $500 to $1,000 for it. The fact that there are only a few known examples adds to the value and rarity of this coin, and people will want them even if it's an extremely worn example. Now, on the high end, it can be worth around $7,000 currently for an SP64 example. If you were to find one and it graded any higher, you could see some massive price jumps. You could easily be talking a $15,000 to $20,000 coin. This is one of the rarest Canadian quarters that you can find still in your pocket change. There have been 4 or 5 accounted for, but that doesn't mean that there still aren't a few floating out there. So definitely keep your eyes on your pocket change, or if you are coin roll hunting, because you never know if you are holding a coin that is only worth 25 cents or $25,000. Now, what do you guys think about the 1967 nickel Bobcat quarter? What would you do if you ever found one of these, or if you ever have found any of the coins that I discussed in this video? Please let me know down in the comments. And speaking of hidden gems, if you're a fan of uncovering rare finds, make sure to check out my other channel, North Central Builds, where I open and build some of the more obscure and budget-friendly Lego sets from over the years. So if you guys would like to see what I have been doing in my off time and catch up with me, then make sure to go check out and subscribe to North Central Builds. I think you will love it. But I would really appreciate if you guys would once again hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, make sure to ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new videos as they are being released. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for this one, folks. So until the next one, everybody, peace out and have A good one, y'all.